Hello, hello, hello. This is Kenny Perkins, aka your cancer guy. And again, as I always say, we have another phenomenal guest. But this guest is it's not just an individual, it's an organization. It's a nonprofit organization. Now you may be thinking, man, nonprofit organizations, there's so many, right? Especially when we're talking about cancer, right? We want to make sure that we're giving a resource to anyone that's out there that's going through this journey. But this organization is a little bit different. You're talking about a boutique organization, an organization where you can talk to someone specific. There's a name, there's a person behind that organization. And I say that on purpose because a lot of times organizations, you don't know who to contact. It's a email address and they may email you back and whatever that may be. But how about if you spoke to someone specific? And every time you call, you speak to someone specific. See, that's what I take pride in All Talk Oncology, right? You're speaking to someone. There's a face behind it. And so we have a boutique nonprofit organization here today. And this organization is here in California, Orange County, California, the home of Disneyland. And so this organization is called Kure It. And we're going to listen to these days and as they talk about the evolution of Kure It, because I think you can benefit from that. I'm super excited, and I want to introduce the three ladies who I have today. We have Courtney, we have Kerri, we have Brooke. Thank you guys so much for joining us here at All Talk Oncology.
Well,
All right.
Hey, ladies, thank you so much for joining me here at All Talk Oncology. It's a privilege to have you in my presence. And gosh, I don't even know where to start. Just, you know, give us a little bit about Cure It organization and how it evolved and what it's about.
sure. You want me to jump in and start, ladies? Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So my name is Brooke Adams. I'm the director for strategy and business development at Kure It. And Kure It started really with our founder. So our founder battled cancer, started in the late 1990s. And by 2007, he had bounced around to several cancer centers in the Southern California area, from UCI to City of Hope to USC, UCLA, Cedars-Sinai. He'd been there. And what was keeping him going were clinical trials. And as he bounced around at all these different facilities, he kept asking the same question, and that is, I'm a gentleman that has means. I'm an entrepreneur. I've built out this business, U.S. storage centers, and because of those means, I'm able to. But what happens to those folks that are out there and they're looking for support, like I'm receiving? And they started talking about how difficult it is to find the funding for the clinical trials that are necessary for survival. And so, about 2007, Barry decided to dive a little deeper into his relationships within storage industry and throughout Southern California. He was a very big USC Trojan fan, lots of friends and family at UCLA as well. And he gathered them all together and he started Cure It in 2007. And they started with the first gala, and it was reaching out and chatting with comprehensive centers here in Orange County, meeting clinicians and what is needed. And his area of focus he chose was underfunded cancers. So technically, we cover everything at Cure It except for breast cancer. Breast cancer in the United States has phenomenal companies, from the pink campaigns that you hear about. It's beautifully funded, and because of that, he chose to look at the underfunded: your pancreatic, kidney, liver, prostate cancer, ovarian, skin cancers. And so the focus was there. And as he continued to build that platform out across Cure It, he started just adding more and more friends within the storage industry. And, here we are now in 2025. Barry, unfortunately, he passed away in 2016, June of 2016, after about an 18-year battle with kidney cancer. And as you notice in our name, actually, it's Cure It. And I love our name because cancer and we cure it. But they changed the C to a K. And the reason that K is there, it's an homage to him and his battle with kidney cancer and what he did. And, today we look back and I talk to some of the medical advisors in our space, and what does it look like as far as what Barry created and where we are today. And you really can earmark about, we're in the tens of thousands of patients that have been impacted by what Barry started, as far as clinical trials, medications that have been out there, therapy, screening. And it's really it's a beautiful story of a man who just wanted to help everybody else, and really what the foundation, everything he has done, we're marching forward and doing some really good work right now. So we're very proud.
Oh my goodness. I mean, what a story. For
Mhm.
someone to come and I mean, it always starts there. A person who was diagnosed, a lot of times it starts there, right? Because you're like, man, I want to do something about it. You get into this space, but to look at underfunded, cancers, not a lot of people do that. And so to be able to create a space for that where people can go and have clinical trials and get funding for that, what an amazing individual
Right?
Barry sounds
Yeah.
like Barry was. Yeah, so for
Well, and to
sure.
learn, it's so they say something like 90% of all, it's called bench studies. So if you think of a microscope, what we fund are the bench research studies in the laboratory. And 90% of those never make it out of the lab because there's no funding. So only 10% actually move forward. So working closely with the medical advisory board, we're looking for cutting edge. We're looking for those programs, West Coast to East Coast, what is happening in that space, and how do we get in and make sure we move it out of the lab and immediately get into clinical studies, therapeutics, so that we're treating patients. And that was his mandate from the beginning, and it's evolved over the last 18 years, which it is our 18-year anniversary. But yeah, I agree. It starts with the story, and then you kind of see how it unfolds or the evolution of that product. So we're really, yeah, we're excited about the future.
For sure. For sure. Listen, Brooke, this is, I mean, you touched on a great point, you know, which a lot of people probably don't even know. I mean, I didn't even know there's a lot of researchers out there that doesn't even come out, right? Because of the funding. How do you how is there a selection process for Cure It in order to go about that? Because that's a great thing to know.
Yeah, yes. So we do send out RFPs, requests for proposals, and we do send those out looking for specifics. Sometimes we really want to focus in on, let's say it's melanoma, or we want to focus in on pediatric glioblastoma, pediatric brain cancer. We may send out RFPs and start looking for those specific. And other times we receive product. It may be something that comes in and there is a study that's out there and it needs immediate support. It could be in pediatric, could be in geriatric. It just depends. And then we have a medical advisory team, and it's led by a guy named Dr. Monty Powell. And Dr. Powell he's a physician clinician out of City of Hope. And he actually will help with a small team look through, because I'd like to tell you that I could read through some of those studies, but they are very deep in the medical. So some of the words, I'm like, I have no idea what this means. So we rely heavily on that team to dissect what the actual product is about. What is this research? How many patients are going to be involved? How long is the study? And we break it down. And once we look at it, we talk to our board of directors, and then we decide to push forward. And working with it could be, it could be Dana Farber out of Harvard. It could be Vanderbilt University. Just kind of depends. We cover from West Coast to East Coast. And so once we dial into what that is, then we work very closely with the administration team at those comprehensive cancer centers. And I should say, we truly only focus there. It's your top seated NCI designated comprehensive cancer centers. So the research, again, that you're talking is very high level, extremely cutting edge research that's out there. And then we fund very quickly, and we follow it from beginning to end. And we do ask for follow up, throughout the study so that we know where it's at. And sometimes we push forward to give more. Sometimes the study ends and goes right into clinical trials for patients.
I love it. I love it. This is great news, because a lot of times we don't know about organizations and how they what they're doing behind the scenes and how they've come up with trials or how they are affiliated with trials for that matter. And so to understand that, there's a board of directors and then there's a whole process and you guys are doing a lot for a whole bunch of different institutions. So that's amazing, 100%. You
Thank you.
know, How often do you guys, organizations, do you guys put on events? Talk to us a little about that. Is there some things that you guys are out there in the community? How do Curate how does the Curate organization function?
Yeah, I'll just give you on the side for Kure It, and I'm going to pass it forward to let the other gals talk because they do amazing products all year long, or programs. For Kure It, there is definitely a budget set at the very beginning of the year, and we look at where do we want to raise funds. And we've had two very successful events that we stick to annually. The first is coming up. It's on June 27th this year at Pelican Hill. It's a big golf tournament. It's called Rivals Cup, and it's been going on now. I think this is the eighth or ninth year. And we host about 144 golfers and an after party, and raise several $100,000. It's called Rivals Cup because the money goes to we split the money between USC and UCLA. It's for their comprehensive centers and programs that they're managing in clinicals. And then in fall, we do a big gala. This year happens to be Saturday, the 8th of November. And we have usually 250 to 300 people in attendance. And it's all the usual at the galas: auctions, call to actions, wonderful speakers, usually our oncologists that come in and give an update on what's going on and what we're funding for that evening. And then we have this insane women's guild that do the best things ever. And they do several other things throughout the year. Girls, you want to jump in and talk a little bit about those?
Well, sure. So
Yes.
we our major fundraiser within the Women's Guild is we call it the Big Dill. It's a pickleball tournament, and this is the fourth year we'll be putting it on. And so that event is October 5th. So any pickleballers out there, do not hesitate. Hit us up. We'd love to have you come check us out and play some ball. And then throughout the year, we have a variety of things within the guild. So whether to bring in members into the guild, to educate others as to who we are, who Kure It is. We have a lot of fun events. So we've been joined in with San Clemente outlets and have joined in to their day of shopping, or we've had shopping events. We just had one at a lovely location in Newport Beach called Open House Market, where they gave back to us as we shopped in there. And we've had events at racetracks and variety of things all over, just to kind of educate and get people interested in what we're doing and raise some funds. One of the things too that we had done as far as Kure It organization, that not just working on clinical trials, but there's a lot of community involvement that Kure It does as well, to go out into the community and kind of remove the stigma of cancer and get others to see what they can do in not just underfunded cancers, but underfunded communities that don't have access. And so that's another important part of Kure It, that community outreach that we do is along the lines of within our fundraising realm.
Kerri, that's a very beautiful point that you made. You know, there's a lot of communities out there. I mean, one, chance for cancer can be quite expensive. And if you don't have the funds or the insurance, but you need specific treatment, it's nice to know that you guys are putting things together for the underprivileged. And so that's an awesome thing to know about. And see, this is another thing you need to know about the boutique organization, nonprofit organizations. They're here to service the community no matter where you may be. So that's awesome to know. That's also to know, Kerri.
Well,
Little
Brooke
bit.
does some things,
Go
but one of
ahead.
the wonderful things that Brooke too is that she has helped many people connect with the trial, because a lot of times you don't know. I have no interest. I have no information on cancer, period. I've been diagnosed. Now what? So there has been resources where Brooke has said, let me connect you with somebody that is doing a trial on the type of cancer you have. And although Brooke is extremely busy, she has done that for many people, trying to just connect the dots. And that's a lovely aspect of the organization.
I can
You
definitely
know,
attest to that, because there's been many a times where just 2 nights ago, I texted Brooke at 9 when I found out some information about a friend of mine whose mother's really struggling. And not even in our state. She's in another state. And because of the amazing connections that Kure It has with the entire cancer community throughout the United States, she's able to find resources, in Cleveland to help out my girlfriend's mom. And, one of the most amazing things about our Women's Guild is, we call ourselves the Beehive. So Beyonce is not the only one with a beehive, Kure It has one too.
Yep.
And we all are just women from different backgrounds working our little tushies off to better our entire community. And we've been able to build genuine friendships through our purpose of philanthropy. And, cancer is, the common thread that all of our lives have been touched with in some way or the other. And we really try to have fun events that your normal, average, everyday person can get involved in. We have, charcuterie making parties. We have, wreath making parties. Like Kerri said, we did a fun night at the racetrack. My dad used to be a jockey. And so we organized a fabulous night at the races, and we try to bring a little bit of fun in everything that we do. And we also try to keep the cost down for people to join because, not everybody's a millionaire and has, thousands and thousands of dollars to just, write that check. But everybody wants to feel a part of this. And I think that the Women's Guild especially has a really good connection with our community in building those relationships. And like we say, every little bit helps.
Mhm.
Yes.
Love it.
You know, I, I was just in this space, probably, and I say space being the cancer space, right? The the cancer space. There's a lot of ladies that talk about cancer, and it's phenomenal, right? Because women they talk, they want to share information, whereas men everything is eternalized, and so it's hard, it's a little bit harder to reach it out. To know that there's a women's guild out there, and you guys are communicating and in a community and putting things together, it's refreshing. You know, talk to me a little bit about how you guys um, go to different parts of the states. We talked about not only do you do City of Hope, but you're in Dana Farber. So your outreach is it's expansive, right?
Very, yes. And the advisors that we work with, our medical team, yes, they have connections. And we joke about it. Well, it's not a joke. It's a really cool fact. But our medical advisor, Dr. Powell, he actually started college at 13 and he was in medical school by 17.
Wow.
So he actually is a Doogie Howser. He's an incredible human. He's known globally. He speaks on an incredibly high level, and the leadership that I've seen that he gives to facilities that are not just here in Orange County, but across, the United States and around the world is incredible. And it's really opened that door for Kure It. So when we put something out there and it's, let's dive in a little bit more with pancreatic cancer. Let's look at liver cancer, cervical cancer. He's out there and we're in that space. And I'm learning more about X because it turns out that's where all clinicians tend to go to look for research programs that they can find funding for. But we are able then to jump in and write a $150,000 check to Dana-Farber at Harvard. And we're able to send $250,000 to the Cleveland Institute at Case Western University because the connections and the open door that he has made or given to us. And we're a team of 4 in-house. We are a small, and I call it that boutique nonprofit because, similar to boutique hotels, the experience that we're able to give is so much more. It's unique, but it's very personal. And I look at it in this way when it comes to cancer and cancer research, cancer funding. It's a very intimate when it comes to your health, and it's very intimate when it's funding. It's your money. And so I always want to make sure that when we're working with folks, they understand the stance that we're taking, that, you know, we're really proud to be here. We have the opportunity and the resources to give deeply. And the end of this year, actually, at UCI, University of California, Irvine, we will finish the largest single grant we've ever done. It's a $1 million endowment, and it's called genitourinary oncology. And we're incredibly proud that we're able to do that. And we're able to do it again. It goes right back to our medical advisor that's opened that door for us so that we can really lean into some incredible programs.
My goodness. So phenomenal. You ladies, you just blow me away, you know, and you guys have lives. You guys know this a lot. I mean, first of all of us in the medical field or in organizations have our own lives. But when you find individuals like these ladies who give, and we were behind the scenes before we started this interview, and they were talking to me about assisting their husbands and the businesses that they work with. And it's phenomenal to know all the things and all the hats that they wear, but they're able to still be able to be a giver and making sure that people like yourselves or your family members or caregivers can have resources that are needed when you're on a journey like this. So thank you, ladies, so much for that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then, you know, and it's a little bit about Kure. Courtney, if you guys didn't know, I was at an event in Beverly Hills, and I spoke to someone, and they were like, "Oh, what do you do?" And I told them, you know, I'm in the cancer industry and whatnot. And the next thing you know, and she's like, "You must be Kenny." And I was like, "Yeah, how do we know?" And she was like, "Oh my God, I talked to this lady upstairs, and she told me about you, and you're in the cancer industry." And so, I mean, it's things like that, right? It's just being able to put it out. And so, for those that are listening, you know, sometimes you may be reluctant to talk to someone about your condition or whatever it is you may be going through. I mean, you're looking for help, but you don't know how to. Just open up, just open your mouth, and I guarantee you, someone will find you. You will find someone who knows someone that can connect you. And you don't want to go through this process alone, and you don't have to. And so I thank you, ladies, so much for just being able to come on here and talk about it. Um, so Kure It being around came about by this gentleman named Barry, who sounds like an amazing individual. Tell me, where are you guys going? What do you see Kure It in the next 3 to 5 years? Because I mean, you guys are, I mean, you're blowing me away. And this is my first time meeting the boutique nonprofit organizations. I'm in awe. So in the next 3 to 5 years, what do you guys see yourselves doing?
Well, Barry, before he passed, it was about 2 years before he passed away, he started a program at Kure It called Roundup for Research. And I call it the last really big gift that he gave. And it wasn't just to Kure It, it was to everybody that's in the cancer space, patients that are out there. So what he set up for us was US Storage Centers was the company that he founded. It is if you think public storage, other storage, it's, you know, you've got too much junk in the house and you need to go open a 10 by 10 storage unit, 10 by 20. What he started with Roundup for Research is that if someone comes in and rents a unit and it's, let's say, 75 or it's $100 for the month, it would be rounded up by 50 cents. And that 50 cents would come back to Kure It. And as that program now over the last 10 years has grown within US Storage Centers, people also make donations at those facilities. They may in a donation box, pop in a 10, a 20. So per year right now, just in passive income, we receive north of 600,000. So anywhere from 610 to 650,000 is coming in just a passive income. And that's an incredible thing because it helps us to, let's say we have a gala, let's say the girls have a pickleball tournament, because we have this incredible passive income that supports, all of our overhead, we're able to push money forward very rapidly. So I always say we're nimble. We find out about something that needs to happen and we can write a check on Tuesday. And it all comes back to that passive income. So this last week, I actually I was with the Arizona Self-Storage Association, and we were talking a lot about that passive program. But that passive program, the goal really over the next few years is to move Roundup for Research from 600,000 to 2 million in passive income per year. And anything north of that is wonderful. That's absolutely a gift to the community, because that is dollar for dollar goes right out to our clinicians who are trying to get them move those studies out of the bench formats or bench research to clinical trials that are supporting patients. So we can round up anything. We can round up boat slips, RV parks. You can round up anything. So the goal right now is getting out in front of as many different organizations and companies that are out there that are willing to do a roundup for us and help us get to that 2 million platform. And outside of that, we've really dug in deep this last year into the preventive space, preventive and screening programs. So I think those will be in our future too, and those will be high screening programs for pancreatic and stomach screening at City of Hope, to endowed chair positions, preventive programs, working with underserved communities to make sure the information is in front of them as to how to reach and find free services, and really the meaning of preventive care, what it means, articulating that outside of the English language to make sure people can read those documents and understand what kind of care is available to them in the language that they're able to speak or read. So I think that, and then the other big one, and we all know is coming, is our big friend in the room, AI. AI is changing the space for blood. And as blood samples, tissue samples continue to be collected with people going in and being screened, that AI is coming on strong in the next 3 to 5 years. I think very big things are going to happen, both in cancer and healthcare in general, via AI.
I love it.
And I just want to clarify one of the things that Brooke had mentioned in the Roundup for Research aspect. To be clear to listeners, when somebody donates $1 to Kure It Cancer Research, that dollar goes directly to a funded product. So because we have the Roundup for Research program, that a portion of that program covers our overhead. And so whenever we get a donation outside of that, it is 100% directed to the needs of the trials, the research, the community outreach. And so I think that's really special. You hear in nonprofits, oh, but how much it goes to the bottom line? We can comfortably say that 100% goes out.
Yep. And Kerri,
That's important.
It is so important. Kerri's right. And Courtney made the connection actually between those two, is Kerri made the comment about the ability to call Cleveland and you have a conversation at Case Western. It's because of the money that comes in, and we're able to move it so quickly and have those connections at those major comprehensive centers that I'm able to pick up. It truly is Roundup for Research. That program has gifted me the opportunity to pick up the phone and call the CEO at one of these large comprehensive centers and say, there is somebody in my family, my network, and I say family as everybody under the umbrella that is Kure It, our family that needs help, to call and say, listen, this person is struggling and I need you to call them today. I need them to get in this week. I need to find out their clinical trial is correct, or does there need to be some transition? And it's because of the Roundup for Research, it's because of those funding, we're able to actually do that. And it's honestly one of my favorite things, is that it's hard. It's a really tough conversation. We hear hard stories about people that are struggling, but to be able to support them and support them quickly is a gift.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. A lot of people always ask me, Kenny, how much advancement have you seen in the community? And there's a lot of things that's already happened, as far as technology is concerned. But when you also think about funding and you're talking about clinical trials that are out here and different ways that you can treat different cancers and the different pharmaceuticals that may be coming out and the different ways to attack specific types of cancer, and you guys are giving 100% back, that is refreshing to know. And then and for those that may be going through this battle, just know that there's people like the Kure It organization and the people behind it, like Kerri and Brooke and Courtney, that are out here working for you so that you can benefit from it. So I just thank you, ladies, so much. It's an honor to be in your presence and to know that you have the passion in order to do something like this. For me, I'm in the field, right? I'm in the trenches with the patient, and Sometimes it's just about not necessarily the treatment, right? It's just being able to connect and have that conversation with them about life. But for me, the connection with you is knowing that there's someone out there that's really pushing it and really out here, just really trying to make a difference for everyone that may be affected by this disease. So thank you, ladies, so much
Well,
for the hard work that you guys do.
thank you. And who hasn't been affected, if not personally, indirectly? And you don't have to throw a rock very far to find someone that you know that has been impacted. And my mom got cancer when I was 22 and passed away when I was 29. And so I don't have the brains to be the researcher or to be the surgeon. But what I do have is some time, and I'll figure out where that time is, but to put back in. And we all have that, to say, how can I make this world better for my kids so that their family members don't pass away when they're 29? What can I do to, and that's really my motivating factor, is how do I make it a little bit better so that the next generation has a better situation than that? And so I think that's important to always look at. Well, we're not the researchers. We don't have the brains to fix it, but we know people.
Yeah, that's Kerri. I love that passion. I felt that. I was like, Kerri, she has something to say here. That feeling, and that is that, right? We want that. We want people like Kerri and Brooke and Courtney working out here and putting things together with that passion. So thank you for that.
Well, and Kenny, I
Yeah.
know we said just before we jumped on how proud we were of you too, because the fact that you have this open mic and you're talking to folks out there, it's continually reminding them to take the stigma off of cancer, to not be afraid. We talk about in-house, and I've heard folks from comprehensive centers across the U.S. say the same thing. The first thing to do if there is a diagnosis, whether it's yourself or someone you love, is first just to pause and take a deep breath. And then it's to team up. Then it's to find and surround yourself with really good people. So I think for you, Kenny, putting this out there, it's just that reminder again, cancer is curable. Yes, there are tragedies, unfortunately, but that we're getting on top of that, every single day. But for you to remind people to get out there are organizations like this. They need support, and especially the Women's Guild. If you're going to dive in anywhere, man, dive into our Women's Guild. These ladies have a passion to support everyone, and their outreach and what they're doing in Southern California, I think sets them apart. So thanks for having us and doing what you're doing.
Absolutely. Thank you. And before I let you go, right? I mean, I need to make sure, is there anything you would love to tell our listeners who may be tuning in right now? Because I'm floored, really, and just excited to have been in your presence and gain this knowledge today. But for those that are listening, is there something that you would like to let them know?
We would really like to invite women to join our Women's Guild. I mean, honestly, if you want to level up your friends, there's a lot of amazing ladies, in our network. And we get together and we have our meetings, and we all have become such intimate friends because of this. And we have bunko nights that once every month with so many of our guild members. And I ended up becoming a part of this because I had just moved to Laguna Hills, and my neighbor asked me if I wanted to go to a gala and hear a U2 cover band, and I was like, all day, I'm in. And then I saw this story of this young girl with pediatric cancer, and this beautiful little redheaded girl, hooked up to IVs, and she was really struggling and going through it. And then the movie ended and the stage went dark. And then out walks this adult woman, this redhead, who, through the miracle of this groundbreaking research that Kure It does, she was able to survive and thrive and, is cancer free. And that right there just touched my heart. And I said, whatever this is, because I went for the U2 cover band. I was like, I am so in. I want to be a part of something special. And that is what the Women's Guild has given to me. It's given me a community. It's given me a resource of some of the most wonderful friendships I've ever formed in my life. And these two ladies, Kerri and Brooke, they are women that walk the walk. I mean, they're people that you want on your side, for not just the scary things, but for the happy things. They're encouraging and motivating. And honestly, please come check out our Women's Guild. And, you can reach us on Instagram through Kure It Women's Guild and Facebook and through cureit.org. There's a whole section that tells you all about our Women's Guild. And, really, we would just like to, say you can sit with us. We take everybody.
Look us up.
Yeah.
Come play pickleball.
I love that.
I just started to play. I'm terrible, but I'm going to sign up for the tournament. So, And
men and women are the tournament. So,
yeah.
Come play.
I love it. Listen, I think a lot of times people don't know how to get into an organization like this and the Women's Guild who are putting events together and getting together and creating like that family like atmosphere where they can, just join forces and encourage one another. And so for those that are listening in and if you're interested in, especially in a boutique or nonprofit organization, this is amazing. These ladies are an intimate group. And so if you're looking to join someone that is really doing something in the community, not to say that not the organizations are not doing it, but as a boutique nonprofit organization, we're going to make sure we have the resources that you guys can reach out to them, connect with them. And we would love to see more people.
I think a lot of people think, yes, we want those that have money to come join our organization and donate. But there's also room for people who might not have the dollars right now, but to come and support and make a difference. And so we do welcome all walks of life. Come help us make a difference. Mm-hmm. Come be a part of what we're doing.
Yeah. And it's not, we don't charge an arm and a leg to become a Beehive member. We have a $100 yearly, donation that gets you into the guild, and you get to be a part of all these wonderful events that we throw and, volunteer at these amazing galas and golf tournaments and pickleball tournaments. And then, you get front row seats to all the shenanigans that we pull off, all year round.
And I'd say on the business side of it too, sorry to interrupt you. On the business side of it too, I would say to those donor sponsors that are listening, that's how we thrive. We'd love to do a roundup research program with you if it's available. But to those that want to sponsor our events, those are successful. Or donate, whether that's, throughout the year, whether it's a year-end gift, I welcome that. And you can find us at www.cureit.org to support our organization. And you can ask me anything. We are an open book. I'll tell you where every dollar goes. And, and even Kenny, next month, we're in New England. We're going to be doing a named grant after someone very special, a gentleman who passed away in fall. Their organization asked if we could raise $75,000 to $100,000 and name a grant for them in the New England area. And I said, yes, I'll buy my airline ticket. So, we'll customize anything. But working with those sponsor donors, that's truly what helps us to thrive year in, year out.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies, so much for what you do. Thank you so much for your passion. And it was an absolute honor to have you here on All Talk Oncology, for sure.
We appreciate it. Thank you
much.
So much, Kenny.
Yes. And so for all of you out there that is listening in, whether you are a family member, you're a caregiver, you're the actual cancer patient, know this, that there's people out here that really are looking to help you and support you along this journey. Sometimes you may feel all alone, like you're on an island and you're isolated, but that's not the truth. We're out here. And I want you to know that you're not alone in this. We're in this together. This is Kenny Perkins, AKA your cancer guy. And until again, I'm out.
So stay connected with us on All Talk Oncology Cancer Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to that, right? Wherever you listen to your podcast, whether that's Apple, Spotify, make sure you subscribe and continue to spread that word, right? Engage in this because your engagement can help someone stay alive. And this is what we're talking about. So again, make sure you subscribe, hit that subscribe button. Again, this is Kenny Perkins, aka your cancer guy. Until again, I'm out.